Hello everyone, how's it going? Dr. Incompetent here, and let's do a complete beginner's guide to He is Coming, shall we? This game is got a great vibe, great music. I love the style and the graphics. But it can be really, really hard when you're starting out because you don't know what anything does. And it is a traditional kind of roguelike, turn-based roguelike in presentation, but really it plays more like a puzzle game where you're trying to explore the map and find items that are necessary to beat the bosses before time runs out. And one of the issues I had when learning a game, and it's intentional, I think it's by design, they just want you to figure things out as you go without explaining them. And that is kind of just leads to a lot of playing and dying. And if that's what you want to do, then fine. But if you want some clarity on some of the early game mechanics and what the icons on the map mean and some basic strategy, this is what I'm going to do in this guide. I'm going to start a brand new account so that you can play along and just kind of understand the thought process of approaching the game. I'm not going to just reveal all of the item combinations and stuff like that. I'm going to leave that to be mysterious, but what I'm going to do is at least tell or describe how to find these things and that they are possible so you can unlock the essence of the strategy and approaching the game for yourself. Sound good? All right, here we go. Long ago, in an age lost to time, mortals and demons waged war against each other. At the heart of their conflict was the crown, a magical artifact of unimaginable power. When the crown fell into the hands of the Demon King, darkness spread across the land, and the people suffered under his reign. But as all hope seemed lost, a lone hero emerged, a knight who faced the Demon King and struck him down. The land healed, peace returned, and the crown was sealed away deep beneath the earth. Generations passed, and the story of the crown faded into legend, but deep in the forgotten corners of the world, a dark force stirred. The Demon King has now returned with the crown in his possession, and this time he will not allow another hero to rise against him. Ready or not, he is coming. Alright, so the Demon King's coming for us. That's not a great beginning. But we're going to try to be the hero and stop him. So the game just drops you in, and it seems self-explanatory at first. When you look at the map, you're like, oh, okay, it's, old school RPG. But let's just break down, before I even move, what's going on the screen, the UI, some of these icons, and some incredibly important bits of information that we need. Now, I'm going to be playing using mouse and keyboard, but using a controller I think is actually better. I like to play that way. I play this on Steam Deck all the time. But just for the purposes of explaining the keys, I'll do it with mouse and keyboard. Now, in the upper left, you're going to see some information about our character. The green heart is our health. We have 10 hit points. The red sword is how much damage we do. We do 1. The blue shield is how much armor we have, which absorbs damage before your health unless the enemy has some special ability. And the yellow boots are your speed, which determine who acts first in battle. And then we start with this weapon, the wooden stick, which does 1 damage, and you see there's a kind of a white box underneath that says the word wood. That is the property of the item, or a property of it. Items can have multiple little brands or properties, and these you can kind of use to help you understand what items combine together. And beneath this, I have 4 slots that I start with to pick up items to make us stronger. Oh, I also have some gold. I have 0 gold. That's what the orange icon is. Now, this strip running along the top here is how much time I have before I have to fight the boss. every turn that I move around, like every square that I'm traveling around is going to progress this time. And we have this much time to get ready to fight the boss. Now you'll see there's sun and moon, there's night and day cycles. And during the day, monsters like this wolf down here will stay stationary. Well, most of them anyway. There are some monsters that can move. But for the most part on this map, they stay stationary during the day. But during the night, the monsters will actively seek you out. And if they see you, they will start moving towards you. So these are things to know and plan accordingly. You can also, you see how it has a map and it says shift. If you push shift, you enter map mode and it allows you to hover over events to get more details. Once unlocked, waypoints allow you to fast travel by hovering over a waypoint in map mode and pressing the spacebar. So if I hold shift, this is just something you want to do in general. I think this is left bumper on controller. You zoom out. And this is very important once you've uncovered more of the map, because one of the things I didn't understand about this game at first was that it's primarily what you have control over is actually your exploration and where you go. You don't know what's going to be around the bend or where things are. You have a very limited view of that. But the choices that you make, the pathing that you take, is crucial to your survival. You don't want to waste any squares. They all matter, because if you're wasting time moving around inefficiently, then you will be fighting the boss before you're ready. So we really need to move, in a way that's at least got some plan to it. Now, if I mouse over some of the icons, it says it's going to explain, some of the things that they mean, but it doesn't really. You'll notice I'm in map mode, and I'm mousing over this, and it doesn't tell you anything. And that's just part of the game, which is that it's pretty opaque, and they want you to understand things by doing and just figuring it out. And I'm going to just kind of help you a little bit and save you some time so that you can get into the game and see, if it's something you want to play and not bounce off of it. This game is in early access, and there probably needs to be some balancing done when you get further into the game. But when you start out, everything seems to make sense in terms of the balance and the progression. So once we have this view understood, the night and the day, you'll see that there's this kind of like boar over here and the flashing tab icon. That's the boss that we're going to fight at the end of these 3 days. So I'm going to hold tab, and we're going to have to fight this Razor Tusk Hog. And it says, if Razor Tusk Hog has more speed than you, his first strike deals 10 additional damage. So one of the first things to understand about He Is Coming is that for the short term, you need to plan your build and the items that you choose around beating the boss that you're going to be fighting immediately. You want long-term survival, and you want to be strong and power up. But what you really need to do to survive and not die just on, the first boss, because this is not the final boss, this is just kind of like a mini-boss, is make sure that you're exploiting this boss's weakness or that you're defending against their strength. So we need to get our speed above 4, for example, to avoid taking that 10 extra damage, which would just kill us. He does 4 damage and he has 5 health, but he has no armor. So if we could go faster than him and we can do more than 5 damage, then we get to go first and we just kill this guy without taking any damage. So that's going to be our goal, is to do a good bit of damage and to be stronger or faster than he is. Now, I cleared my account so that I would have nothing, and I don't think I do. I don't. But I do not have... Right. Okay, I do not have this fired up buff. I think you might start with this. If you start with the fired up buff, that's great. It's just going to make you stronger for your first run so that you can have a little bit more success, but I don't have it on to give you just a more even feel about how it's going to be without that buff on. So I just have the stats that you see here. So your character might be stronger if the fired up buff is on you. Now, this house in the center of the screen is grayed out, and that's because resting points are only active during the evening. So it has to be nighttime, and campfires and houses you can then go inside and rest to recover 10 health. But we don't want to do that right now. We want to go out and get some treasure chests. So you can use WASD to move around on the trail, and I suggest what you do, we're going to shift to zoom out, is just focus on uncovering the map until you find treasure chests, these orange squares where we can get, things that will benefit us. Fighting enemies gives you gold, which is good for buying items at shops and things, but right now we don't really want to fight them because we don't have any items other than this wooden stick, so we're not really well prepared. So go over to this treasure chest and open it up. Now, of course, your map will look different than mine. So what you're going to do is just explore and try to find yourself a treasure chest or something that would benefit you. Now, when you open the treasure chest, you're going to see there are 3 choices, and you must take one of them. If you do not take one of these items and you close this window, then you will get nothing, and the treasure chest will not let you open it up again. It's gone. So, it'll be on the map, it just won't let you get an item from it. So make sure that if you do want something, you take it. And we have to make a choice between a leather vest, a sword of the hero, or a frostbite gauntlet. Now, generally when you mouse over stuff, it does give you an explanation of some of the game terms if it's necessary. The leather vest just is going to give us 2 armor and 1 speed. So remember, we did say that we wanted speed, so this is kind of nice. The sword of the hero is going to give us 3 attacks, so our wooden stick is just 1 attack, so this would make us triple our damage. Very good. And then the frostbite gauntlet, at the beginning of the battle, you give the enemy 1 freeze, and freeze is a debuff that halves the attack damage. And 1 freeze gets removed every turn. So like if you put freeze 2, then they will be frozen for 2 turns, freeze 1 turn. And it's nice for mitigating damage, but that's not what we want. I always really recommend that you pick a weapon as soon as you can, because you might not get offered one in your first chest, but whenever you do get offered a weapon, really consider it over the wooden stick, because you're going to be finding anvils and blade oils that you use to upgrade your weapon, and if you upgrade the wooden stick, for example, then when you want to go take a weapon, you're going to not feel great about it because you'll lose the edge that you put on and the oils that you put on. So you want to make sure that you get a good weapon to start upgrading on its own as soon as you can. So I'm going to pick the Sword of the Hero. Now, I do want to tell you, just like Vampire Survivors, this game operates a lot on item sets and combining items to gain a bonus. So, like, let's say there is some set, and if you have 4 items of that set, once you have them all in your inventory, you get a special bonus. And that's kind of what you're looking to unlock. The way that you can sort of figure out what items go together is based on their name, their appearance, and their properties. So, you know, Sword of the Hero. If I see other things that say hero, I might say, okay, this might belong to a set. Or the leather vest. If I see other leather items, I might be like, okay, these belong to a set. Or, you know, frostbite, things that freeze, things that are blue like this, that any kind of clue that would connect them. Now, the red border just means it's a weapon. But the color of the item can also be useful for figuring out these clues. The little green pip in the upper right corner means that these are common items, and that's the rarity of the item. That's actually important for using, for example, the golem, which allows you to combine 2 common items. So this is a common item, and I'm going to take it. And once I take it, you can see we have the Sword of the Hero. Our attack has changed to 3. And if I move off the chest, you see how it's grayed out? That's how it will look if you choose not to take an item, or if you do. It no longer does anything. Okay, great. We found another chest. The first thing we want to do is get a weapon and get items in all of these slots so that we can have as much power as possible. There's a bear over there. Okay? So, okay, look. The boots of the hero. You see how they're gray? And they say of the hero? So these might go together. And indeed they do. Leather glove. You see how it's brown? It's leather. This would have gone with our armor. And then there's a cherry bomb. This is actually a nice item. It just deals 1 damage 2 times to enemies. And I want you to pay attention to the fact that this is a bomb and it's food. So there is a cauldron, for example, where you can combine food items. So, you know, if you want to go for food, that might be useful. What we're going to do is take the boots of the hero. Leather glove is just 3 health, 3 max health, and a speed. By the way, if you take an item that gives you max health like this, it will put your max health to 13, but it will not raise your health to match it. So you will be 10 out of 13. You won't be 13 out of 13, which is unfortunate. And combining items is super powerful because, as you're going to see very quickly, you can only hold 4 items, and it's maddening. You don't have very much space, so you have to be incredibly selective once you fill this up about what you're going to take and make choices about what items you want to keep. So that's why item sets, and that's why combining items is so powerful, because let's just say, for example, I found a golem, which is an orange icon on the map. It's kind of an NPC that we can interact with. He would let us take 2 boots of the hero. They're common, they're the same item, and then combine them into 1 golden item that would take up only 1 slot, so we could consolidate. Same thing with the food, if you find the cauldron. So that's an incredibly powerful way to take advantage of your limited inventory by combining so that you have a more efficient and powerful and potent inventory with the 4 slots that we have, at least right now. So I'm going to take the boots of the hero because we want speed, remember, hold tab, to be faster than the hog. So let's do that. And now you can see it's updated our speed to 2. And I'm going to hold shift. I'm going to look around. So I could go north and I can go west. And I'm going to go north for the time being because if I want to go west, I might have to go through this bear. And I'm still not super excited about fighting an enemy. Okay, here's another chest. I personally like to, if possible, get as many chests as I can before I start fighting just random enemies on the map. Alright, here we go. And we see the brittle bark bow. Now this is nice, but if I take this, it will replace my sword of the hero. And I don't want to do that. You can only have 1 weapon. Because I've got 2 hero items, and I kind of want to keep those. The saffron feather says turn start, convert 1 speed to restore 2 health, so it gives you a speed. And that's nice. But then you start converting your speed, meaning subtracting your speed to restoring your health. It's nice, it gives you a little bit of healing. But the leather glove will give us more health and speed. So I'm just going to take this, so that now you see we have 13 max health, we have 3 speed. We're almost to the point. As long as we get 4, that's fine. Because then you won't do that 10 extra damage, where that guy doesn't hurt us. This right here, this grayed out crystal, this is something where you can grab this icon and choose to reveal a section of the map that is, like, it'll give you 3 choices of maybe, you know, a merchant, a golem, an anvil, or, you know, a hero's grave or whatever, and then you can find out where that is, and that's incredibly powerful. Also, you see over here, this is what they're talking about, the waypoint. This allows you to fast travel, and it's also insanely powerful because you do it instantly whenever you need to. And then, like, if you find something that you want to repeatedly visit, a lot of these icons that we've gone to are one-time visit, but some places you can go more than once and use their services. So it's nice to be able to move around. I'm actually going to backtrack and go over, and I'm going to go up here. There's a hedgehog. Here's the crystal. Now, look at the top. It's going to become night very soon, and that means that these enemies are going to come over and attack me. So we're going to have to actually fight some of these enemies and learn about combat right here. There's a campfire down here. you'll notice that if you move around the map, you'll see at nighttime the campfires illuminate to reveal the map. You could see where the crystals are. You could see where the different waypoints are. And this can help you start planning where you want to go. Now, you're probably not going to make it super far, but it gives you an idea of where things are located. So if I go up, you'll see these enemies like run toward me, and we're going to have to fight them and see what happens. So I'm going to step up, and the hedgehog wants to fight first. Battles resolve automatically. You and your opponent take turns attacking each other. So if your health reaches 0, you lose indeed. Attack represents how much damage you do each turn. Armor absorbs damage that would be dealt to health and is replenished between battles, not turns, battles. Speed determines who goes first. You can adjust how quickly the battle plays out by using the options above. Good luck. So, right, battles start paused, and then they will resume at whatever speed that you've selected. And the boss will start paused as well. You can actually get to a point when you've played the game a lot where you can just skip doing these normal battles altogether and just automatically resolve them, but we're not there yet. We're going to see how a battle plays out. So, we get to attack first because we have more speed. And this guy has 3 thorns. So it says battle start, hedgehog gains 3 thorns. So that means we're going to take 3 damage when we hit this dude. And there's nothing we can do about it. We're going to kill him in 1 shot. He only has 1 health. But we're just going to take some damage. So if I click play, you see he got his thorns right there. And then I take 3 damage, but we win. And we get 1 money. And we can go over here, and we fight this bird. So this bird, we kill just like that. And he steals money from you, but because we went faster than him, he did not get to steal our cash. Okay, great. This icon right here, and that's one of the things that's just so difficult about this game when you first put it up, is it doesn't tell you what any of these icons do. So this icon is incredibly important. It's an oil. If you go over here, you get to apply a blade oil, and you can actually apply all of these to your weapon, but you get to choose which one you want. Now, I want them all. I typically take damage first. However, there is some reason to taking armor oil because we have no armor with this character right now, and that would just help us to not take as much damage up front. Which I'm tempted to do, but I can't not take attack oil. It just will help us, and we got the waypoint. Now this question mark, it could be something good or it could be an enemy. We don't really know. I'm going to zoom out, and I'm going to move around. There's a crystal, there's a campfire. Where's the next waypoint? Way over here? Okay, I'm going to make my way and just kind of work towards that waypoint. So we have something we could do with teleport. Okay, this wolf wants to fight. So this wolf says, while the player has 5 or less health, the wolf gains attack. Luckily, we go faster than him, and we kill him in 1 shot. And we have 7 health, so he didn't get that bonus health. Let's get this chest. Excellent, excellent. Look at this. Shield of the hero. I was just talking about armor. Now, if I took this, I would actually be fast. And so there's a lot to recommend that. This goes with our leather glove, but if I take this, we just got our first item set, and I wanted to show you this. I think Hero is probably one of the easiest item sets, at least it feels like it when you first start out. Because when you first begin, he is coming, there is a very limited pool of items to choose from, and so it's pretty easy to find sets once you know what to look for. Even leather, you saw we got offered that a bunch. Now, interestingly, the game... As you play this game, you unlock more and more items, which is cool. You know, there's more variety. But what some people have made a point about on the Steam comments, and I kind of tend to agree, which is that more items is nice, but it dilutes the pool and it makes it harder to get sets because there's just too many items. And a lot of the items are just not even really that great. And so the game becomes, by some accounts, more difficult once you've played like 5 or more hours. So because we're starting out, we have a very small pool, and all of the items are pretty nice, and it's easier to make sets. So when you gather all components of an item set, you get a bonus effect, and you can see it right down here. It'll show up. Look at this bad boy. We get 2 attack, 2 armor, and 2 speed because of this. Now, if we get rid of any of these items, we will lose that bonus. It only applies while we have it. It's also worth mentioning, and I didn't understand this, if I, combine 2 boots of the hero and get a gold boot of the hero, then I no longer get the set bonus. I have to have these be gray, at least to as far as I know, for this set to work. There might be a better set that requires gold, but just be mindful of that if you manipulate the items, you might lose a set bonus. Now, I might have had a particular item set where that happened to me. It was on the second map, but at the same time, I was surprised when I lost it by upgrading one of the items within the set. Now, you can let me know in the comments below if you're a He Is Coming veteran, if that doesn't apply to all sets, or if I'm just completely off my rocker, but that's what I observed. All right, now I'm going to go up here, and it's daytime, so the bosses won't, or the regular enemies, the red enemies, won't move anymore and won't chase us. And notice something really cool. We have 5 speed, which if we look at Razor Tusk Hog, which means we're faster than him, so he doesn't get extra damage, and we do 6 damage, which means we could kill him in 1 shot. So we're super prepared for this boss. This chest right here with the gem is a jewelry chest. So let's go over here, and it's a jewelry box, and we can get rings, amulets, necklaces, crowns, things like this. So the emerald earring restores 1 health every other turn, piece of jewelry. The sapphire ring steals 2 armor from the enemy. Now, this guy doesn't have armor to steal. And the sapphire crown removes 2 health, but gives us 5 armor. And actually, there's, I like both the emerald ring and the sapphire crown. And the fact that I'm so fast and I do so much damage means this is not going to actually happen as much. So I'm going to take the Sapphire Crown, and they're now explaining, because our items are full, that they trigger sequentially. So they go in order, and that's actually important. There are some items that you do want to happen in a particular order. Like, for example, maybe one item gives you a buff, but then you have another item that removes... or let's say one of your items gives you a debuff, and then you have another item that removes a debuff. You want to apply the debuff first and then remove it after, so that you can start without any negatives, things like that. So it does matter how you add these up, and I'm going to keep it as is. So at this point, we could go just fight enemies and make money. I'm going to work us over to this waypoint, though, just to get a teleport. I'm going to walk into this spider. There's a golem. We got an achievement for being faster than light, for being faster than the spider. This golem, I'll show you. Oh, here's a merchant. So I'm just explaining what these icons do, which the game doesn't tell you up front, and you have to waste... It's difficult because you have to waste time and exploration to go see them, but you're on the clock. So it doesn't really help you make the best decisions not knowing what they are. This guy will let you combine 2 common items of the same name, or 2 gold items of the same name. And this guy, the merchant, will let you buy stuff. Now, I only have 4 gold. I haven't really been fighting a lot. But both of these guys will not disappear if you visit them. So I can go to the merchant, I can see what he's got, and I can actually afford, some of this stuff, like the leather boots, for example. You can also re-roll the items. The merchants are incredibly useful for, let's say you had 2 items from the hero set, but you needed that 3rd one. You can come to the merchant and get 6 looks to see if you can find the item that you're missing for your set. And then you could even re-roll it if not. Now I'm going to leave, and I'm going to go here. Okay. There's an ice block shield, there's a whetstone, and there's vampiric wine. I actually don't need any of this. I think that I like the items that I have, and so I'm probably not going to take anything. I mean, I might consider replacing the glove, you know, but for now, I'm okay with what I have. I'm going to walk over here. Here is a fairy. A fairy, a small fairy like this, lets you basically give her one item of a particular rarity, and she gives you another random item of that same rarity. So, like, if you have an item that you don't really need, and you're looking for something else, you can, you know, go rando and see if you can get something better. Waypoint unlocked. Okay, redwood, featherweight, frostbite. Again, I'm okay with what I have. This is actually probably better than the glove for us. We're already super fast, and this will just help us restore our health. So I'm going to select this, and I'm going to replace the glove. You see we go down to 10 health. But we will now restore 2 health because of the cloak, which is great. I'm going to walk around here. Ooh, this is a lookout. So this will reveal a ton of the map around it. I'll show you. Boom. So we could see what this stuff is. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't show you what the question marks are, but it does show you where they are and show you where the roads are. All right, so this guy wants to fight. And we can speed this up, actually. A little bit. And here's another merchant. All right. I'm actually going to go up. I'm going to look for some more waypoints for just traveling around the map. Here it is. The reason you want to find these is because you're going to be staying on this map. Yes, another oil. Perfect. So we talked about this. I have a lot of armor. I'll take speed. Sure. So we're incredibly powerful because we have a set. Yes. And we found the last, or one of the last icons I want to show you, which is the anvil. This blacksmith will put an edge on your weapon. Every weapon can have one edge on it. And when you mouse over your weapon, you can see the oils that we have. We have attack, we have speed, the set bonuses. Once you unlock a set, by the way, every time you pick up an item from that set, it will show you what other items you need to complete it. Another thing about this that's important is that when you talk about the weapon, the first edge is free. So whenever you see this anvil for the first time, go over to it, and he'll just give you, it's random what choices he gives you, but you get it for free. And then I think you could pay 10 gold to replace it if you don't like it later. But you're not adding another edge, you can only have one. So this restores a health, and this just gives us extra damage. I always, in this case, I'm going to take damage. We're at full health, and we have something that already restores health, so we don't really need any vampiricism now. I'm actually going to go back down, even though it's retracing my steps. Look at this chest. This is kind of nice. This explains, but we don't want this against the boss, because we have to go faster. We don't want to lose speed. This explains a mechanic called exposed. So when you lose all of your armor, you get this effect, which would be gain 3 armor. It only happens the first time, though, so it doesn't happen every time, but it's nice. Wounded is when you lose half of your health for the first time. You just drink this wine and get 4 health back, for example. It's pretty cool, but like I said, I'm fine with my items. I will show you what this does. So this allows us, we want to see this oil. So I'm going to reveal this oil, and there's another oil up there. So we're going to actually try to work toward that. Now, when you get close on the evening before the boss, you'll see the screen shake like that. That means the boss is coming, and it's giving you a warning, like the boss is going to be here. I'm just going to move over here and try to get the waypoint. And we did. And then I'm going to move toward the oil. We're not going to make it, though. He's going to fight us. And here's the boss. So we encounter the Razor Tusk Hog, and we'll just push play. We go first, and we just kill him. Super easy, but that guy is hard if you don't plan. If you're not faster than him, you're wrecked. So that fight we got through. Now, even if we weren't faster than him, he's pretty easy. He's the first mini-boss. Like, we had 10 armor, so we would have survived it, but being faster means that we don't lose anything, and that's important because the aggregate matters. Meaning, after we beat that boss, now we're back on the same map, the woodland, and all of our exploration matters, all of our waypoints matter, and our health matters because it carries over. So because we have full health, we are rocking and rolling. And you'll notice when you beat that boss, we just unlocked 2 more item slots. So we're going to now fight a new boss before the final boss, and we have 2 item slots. If we beat this boss, we get 2 more, and we're trying to make ourselves as powerful as possible for that 3rd boss. And this guy, the Goldwing Monarch rather, says, wounded, he steals all your gold and restores 2 health for each gold stolen. So what this means is we need to spend all of our money before we fight this guy. If we don't, he's going to take our money, which you won't get it all back, and then, even if you beat him, he's going to heal for double that. So we really, really don't want this dude to heal. He has 4 speed, no armor, and 40 health. So currently, when we think about this guy, we're faster than him, we deal a lot of damage. All we need to do to not get wrecked is build up our defense so that his 3 damage he's going to deal every turn isn't prohibitive, and then make sure we have no money, or very little money. So that's pretty easy. And let's just build up either our armor or our health regen or something like that so that we can hang with this guy. Currently, as is, we go first, and in 7 turns we kill this guy. It means that he's going to hit us 6 times because we'll kill him before he hits us back. And so he's going to do 18 damage to us, which we absorb 10 with our armor. We have 10 health. So we win this fight, but if we have 7 gold and give him 14 more health, then we have a problem. So we need to spend our money and get some more items. And we will get into that next time. Everyone, I'm going to try to make this a little small series so that we can go through as far as we can on our first run here in He Is Coming, to just kind of see what happens as we get more items, as we upgrade this character, and try to take on the Act 1 boss. I hope you have found this to be useful and fun. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions about the game. And if you are an expert on He Is Coming and want to share your advice and wisdom, that would be awesome. I appreciate that so much. Or correct any mistakes that I've made. Thank you. Just make sure that you don't spoil too much. It's kind of unavoidable in some degree, but and don't get too far into the weeds so that a person playing this for the first time wouldn't understand what you're talking about. I'd appreciate that. Thanks, everyone. Take care.